here we are about to end this course and to tackle the final project, which is going to be creating your playbook. And that means creating 2 weeks of your calendar, of your example calendar, and the gathering of all your notes, observations, and reflections. That is going to be your go-to moving forward if you fell off the wagon. But to start, we're going to take the day before your work week start as a starting point. In my case, it's Sunday. I start my work week on Monday. Therefore, for me, my fun day is actually the Sunday. So on Sunday, I just sit for around 30 minutes and make sure that I get ready for the next couple of weeks. So maybe Sunday is your day as well. Maybe it's another day if your work week starts, on Thursday. In that case, you will be doing this on Wednesday. For me, it's going to be Sunday, I guess, for most of you as well. So welcome to Sunday Fun Day, and let's get ready to set up your calendar for the next 2 weeks. So I'm going to show you my 2-week calendar so you can compare number one with the 1 or 2 days that you did in the lessons before, so we can complete your 2-week calendar moving forward. Now, something that is very important and as well, I think, very interesting. You're going to notice as I go through my calendar that there might be things that you didn't notice during the previous lesson. For example, as you will see, I divide my distractions into 2 categories. Distractions and inbox 0. That is my email. As we mentioned in previous lessons, email is a distraction, but it's a productive distraction, and it is a tool, is a way of work. So I need to allocate time for that, but it is a distraction. So you're going to notice that when you see my calendar, and we're going to go through some of those spaces, what to do with them, so you can build the formula that works for you. Again, my calendar is an illustration, it's an example. You'll have to build yours. So just take this again as a learning, as a practice, and you will probably schedule something for the next 2 weeks. And during those 2 weeks, you will be changing things. You will be testing, again, trial and error. And maybe after the next 2 weeks, you sit down on a Sunday or whatever is your equivalent to the Sunday, and you will build another 2 weeks. If those are your perfect 2 weeks, those will be the ones that you leave for your final playbook. Those will be the ones that you print out, that you always look at as an example alongside your notes and reflections. So let me show you my calendar. This is kind of my first week in my calendar. I'm gonna share with you all the details, don't worry. I know that maybe if you see someone else's calendar and you see all these boxes, it might be overwhelming, but I'm assure you, as soon as you get it, it's gonna be super easy, and your calendar is gonna look a lot like this one. So, give me a second, we'll get there. This is the first week. What you're gonna see here is that I wake up early and I dedicate my mornings to personal stuff, typically training, well-being, and whatnot. I use the green color for anything related to well-being, personal time, fitness, and so on. So at a glance, and this is why I was telling you at the beginning, color coding is awesome. At a glance, you can see that during my week, I typically dedicate my mornings. There is some space in the middle of the day, which is typically my cooking. I always cook for lunch if I can, unless I need to order or we go out. But typically I cook, especially because I work from home most of the days. I cook, I have lunch, and I walk the dog. So you're going to see that space, and then you're going to see space at the end of the day. Obviously, nighttime. Something interesting as well, I like to walk the dog kind of mid-afternoon, and it's also a great way as well to get movement, right, throughout the day. If I didn't have a dog, sometimes I don't have the dog, he's it's with a dog walker or whatever it is, I will still keep that space and just substitute it for going for a walk. But as you can see, I have throughout the day, before, after hours, I have 3 times for movement. First thing in the morning, movement and well-being and personal time, right? First thing in the morning, lunchtime, mid-afternoon, and then the end of the day. That is all green. So as you can see, I do have a lot of green. I hope you too. Green or whatever is the color that you choose. So that is the first thing that you see at a glance, right? And also I do plan for 2 weeks. So especially for training, I follow some sort of a schedule and training and whatnot. So as you can see, for example, in the morning, I have lower body strength training on the Monday. Then I walk the dog, then I have a shower, and then I dedicate around 30 minutes to meditation and reading. And that is my morning. And note that I put it all in the calendar. Even the fact that I'm gonna walk the dog and shower. And I know that this seems like a lot, but it helps. Meaning, I'm gonna walk the dog for around 15, 20 minutes, and I'm gonna take a quick shower, 10, 15 minutes. That's all I need. And I put it there. And then I'm gonna meditate, and I'm gonna read around 30 minutes in total. Meaning by 8, in this case, on this Monday, I'm gonna be ready to work. And my first thing is actually going to be a distraction, and it's gonna be my inbox. Why? Because I want to make sure that I start the week with an inbox 0, meaning by Monday, right, which is the first day of my working week, I make sure that my inbox is clean, that I've dealt with everything that I had to deal with. So this is very important. I schedule time for distractions, in this case, my inbox, my productive distraction, my email, work email, first thing on a Monday. Why? As we mentioned before, not something that gives me a lot of energy, but I'm super fresh after all my training, my meditation, my reading, so it's all good. So I check my email, and right after, as you can see here in kind of a more orange color, all the things that I don't like. So that is the first part of the morning that you can see here, and you can start getting used to the color coding that I'm using in my calendar. So we've seen 3 colors so far. Green, all the good stuff. This kind of purple for distraction related to inbox, mail management. So as you can see, look, I have this thing typically first thing in the morning. Then I have another space dedicated to it midday right before lunch. And then I have another space by the end of the day. So I try to be very disciplined and check my email only 3 times a day. It is a big distraction. It is a tool. Sometimes there are things that are important in my inbox. So I just check it 3 times a day. That is me. Maybe you need to check it more often. You still need to allocate it to your calendar. So that is the second color that we see here. And then look at the third color that I'm introducing to you so far. The things that I don't like. The admin, the meetings that are not productive or they are draining my energy, things that are going to drain my energy in general, I have it in this orange color. So look at how I'm organizing my time here. Things that refresh me, energize me, some distraction that I need to take care of, things that I don't like. And that is something that works for me. I've observed my energy. I've observed my distractions. I know for how long I can typically focus. So that is what I'm putting in my calendar. And that is how I'm putting order to different things that I have to do. Then after that, I'll try to get a productive meeting. Productive meetings, which is this 4th color that I'm introducing, are meetings that I really like having, are meetings where I'm working with others to get work done. And they're typically an energy booster. And for example, I follow that by solo work, making a presentation by myself, organizing stuff, whatever it is, but it is both of them. In this case, they are energizing. Okay. And that is important. And also something to notice, once I put my solo work, I take note of solo work. And then in the details, I will include things like, build a slide 8 to 10 on pitch deck number 1. For example, that might be my solo work. Or it could be research on the newest UX for fintech. For example, I'll take note of what I want to do during that solo work. And that is important. If you don't have clarity into how you're going to use that time, you will probably fall into your distractions. So this is a great discipline. This is going to help you a lot, believe me. So it's just 5 minutes again on your Sunday. Okay, what am I going to do during that solo work? Awesome. Then I will just set up some difficult meetings, some difficult tasks as well. Then I'll set up some time for distractions, as you can see here, and then again, inbox zeros and lunchtime. Look that in this Monday morning, I've used all my color codings. So the green, the distraction for inbox zero, the things that I don't like, the things that I find productive, and look at this light blue here for the distractions, meaning social media, etc., etc. What you're gonna notice now that you understand how I work on my calendar is that, for example, on Monday morning, simply because I'm super refreshed after the weekend, my energy levels are generally up, I'm very well rested, I don't put distractions until actually quite late in the morning, 11:45. You're gonna notice that that changes as the week goes. Why? Because I understand myself and I know how I work. And you know what happens to me during the week. You get more tired, you get more needs to get distracted. So for example, Tuesday morning by the same time, I've already scheduled 2 slots for distractions. So notice those differences. And I keep those 2 slots in the morning for distractions pretty much throughout the week. Again, this is something that you can change. You can change things during the week. But what I try to do is on Sunday to leave something there that makes sense. And I really try to be very disciplined to accomplish following this schedule. Again, I've done this for a long time. I'm very disciplined. I've built that muscle. And I also know how I work. So I know exactly, when to put my distractions. So that is also something for you to notice. Maybe you need distractions right away and you schedule, 3 slots from 8 to 12, 4 slots. That is up to you. Again, my formula is not your formula. It's the practices that matter, okay? So right before lunch, as you can see, I tend to check my email, just make sure that I go for lunch in peace and with peace of mind. Cook lunch, walk the dog, all that. Distractions right after. You will say, man, just have lunch. You just walk the dog. Still, right after lunch, I kind of need a break before getting my brain working again. And then typically I set up a complex meeting right after lunch. And look, because it's after lunch and I know I get to where I tend to get a little bit more distracted, I will put a distractions again right after. Then I'll set up a productive meeting, walk the dog, another productive meeting, checking my inbox kind of at the end of the day or close to the end of the day, some distraction time, and it's a good chunk. I would schedule a good 30 minutes. I have my solo work and then I have dinner at home, 7 to 9. Something very interesting here. Again, the first thing that I will do on that Sunday is to set up all the greens, all my personal time. If my partner is next to me, I'll actually do the exercise of saying, okay, what do we want to do together this week? And I'll make sure that is the first thing that gets into my calendar, just so you know. That is my priority. Yours could be completely different. It could be time with your kids. It could be time for you. Maybe you go to CrossFit, do tennis classes, just watch Netflix. Who cares? Just make sure that you allow for that time to happen. And that is the first thing that you should book. So look at different things that are happening here. For example, on the Tuesday, I'm gonna cook on Tuesday. So I'm stopping at 6:30 and I'm gonna cook and I'm gonna make dinner. However, there is something that I need to take care of that is work related. So I will actually put in that I have to do solo work from 8 to 9 and I will let my partner know. So it's like, listen, I'm going to be cooking. And by the way, this is terrible. Since I know that I'm going to have to stop for work at 8 p.m. because I have something to do, whatever it is, I make sure that day I cook a delicious dinner, right? So it's, just giving a little bit of balance right there so I don't lose any points with my partner. So that is important as well. The only way that you can get to do this is if you plan ahead. This is why using this time box is so important. And something to notice as well, look at how I manage my energy. I make sure that the things that, drain my energy are in between things that give me my energy back. And that is the game. That is how you play the game of energy, distractions, focus. Just put in one thing after the other. You also know how much time you need to recover after something very complex or the level of complexity that your meetings or your solo work or whatever it is, the level of complexity you're going to have. So put things in an order that makes sense for you. What else can you notice here? Let me show you, for example, Thursday. What do you notice on Thursday? Imagine that you get requests for meetings that you accept and whatnot, and you get to Thursday and look at this. I have really quite a complex morning. The one thing that you should ask yourself, is this reasonable? Or should I move one of these complex meetings to another time and slot in there other type of more productive or energetic work? This is what you need to reflect on and analyze when you are planning your week ahead. Does this make sense for your energy and your focus? That is the challenge here in working with this type of time box methodology. You will also notice that I have blank spaces. That is great. That means that I have nothing scheduled there. What does it mean? You can use this time for something else, to work out, to train, to watch a movie, to whatever it is, to maybe say, you know what, I'm gonna move my solo work to, instead of doing it at 4:15 p.m. on the Thursday, I'm gonna actually do it at 3 p.m. And I'm gonna also put my inbox zero earlier on so I finish my day early. That could be the case as well. It's not that you need to have every single minute booked. It's more about, again, how do you manage your energy throughout the day? And when you have spaces where, oh, listen, I have a completely blank space, you can decide if you want to move something in there, or actually if you want to have a full hour of distractions, relax, disconnection, whatever it is. Make sure you also put that time in there. And maybe what I will do is like, great, you know what? I'm gonna extend my distraction time an hour. Great news. There you go, boom, a huge blue space. I could also decide to spend more time with my dog and just go for like an hour-long walk. Let's make sure that those spaces are not just blank. Utilize them in a way that works for you. It could be meditation, could be whatever it is, you decide. But this is the key, you decide. You own your agenda, you own your energy, you own your distractions. You just need to be disciplined, practice, and test a lot what works for you and what doesn't. Something very important here, as you go through this exercise, you create your schedule and you test, because that is very important. You test, you're flexible, you will change things. That's all good. You're gonna need a couple of weeks, if not more, to actually get to your perfect calendar. There is something very important. Your success metric is not the minute, it's not the time. Your success metric is, were you able to focus for as long as you wanted to focus on each task? So at the end of the day, what I want you to do is to really observe, could I focus? So I said that I was gonna focus for 30 minutes or that I was gonna be in a productive meeting for 45 minutes. Was I focused on that or was I immediately distracted? Take note of that, because that is gonna allow you to optimize your calendar as you go. You won't be able to get to this perfect week that I have here in front of me if you don't observe and if you don't take note of those little things. If you realize that, for example, you were not capable of focusing for more than 30 minutes, never, ever, 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 then you know that next week when you optimize your calendar, you're gonna try to book slots that are not longer than 30 minutes. And maybe you need more distractions around. That is gonna be part of your observation for the next days as you try this out. Now, being successful at this is not about the time allocation. Success is something else. Let's see it in the next lesson.